eye. From that moment, she embraced the art, crafting baby quilts, throws, and even ambitiously creating quilts for her husband's 5 nieces and nephews one Christmas. And she also crafted a beautiful quilt of valor for a brave young female service member. Betty herself passed her passion and skill to her 3 daughters, Joan, Janet, and Judy, each of whom has made quilting a significant part of their lives. Joan, also among the founding members of the Guild, has a particular love for purple quilts, memory quilts, t-shirt quilts, and restoring old quilts. Her dedication to preserving the history of quilting is a testament to the deep connection this family has to the craft. And those quilting frames hung from Grandma Parker's ceiling, Joan still has those. Judy, the youngest of Betty's daughters, loves both quilting and embroidery. Her business, Sewing Dreams Boutique, is thriving on her website and on Facebook. And you can find her at local events and craft fairs. Judy enjoys making custom and memory quilts, stitching together love and memories. She recalls quilting from a young age and is growing up with an understanding of how much love and comfort a quilt can convey. And Janet, I think we all agree that Janet is the master of our legacy, both in her skill as a quilter and her passion for preserving our history. Janet's heart lies in traditional quilting, and after years of quilting on her mother's long arm, she invested in her own long arm in 2016. These days, she spends more time quilting for clients, family, and friends. But still, Janet contributes to the family tradition by creating beautiful quilts that are shared with many, some for show, all for love. The first generation of quilters, the quilting cousins, continue to quilt, not just for the beauty of the craft, but for the joy it brings others. Their quilts, made with care and artistry, weave together the threads of family history and tradition, and an enduring passion for creating something both meaningful and lasting.
Betty's niece Jill made this sampler quilt for her sister Terry, using some of Terry's favorite colors. Terry was inspired by her Aunt Betty, quoting, "She never made it look like something only a few extra talented people could do. She made you know that you could do it too." Terry became a wannabe quilter, accomplishing 10 years of stash building before actually finishing a quilt. Terry's Aunt Betty cut this cowboy boot quilt out for her in 1977 because Terry at that time was in a full-on cast. She will finish this top soon, so it holds lots of memories. Joan's t-shirt quilt. This t-shirt quilt was made by Betty's daughter Joan. The shirt came from the collection of her dear friend Mike. Joan had her sister Judy quilt this quilt using their mom's long arm. Joan's cousin's quilt. This was a fun project. Joan's cousins and her mom each created one block, duplicating it so that each person received a complete set of blocks. For such a block honors the quilters of the generations before us. This carpenter's wheel. Janet is making each of her children a special quilt in which they get to choose the color scheme and pattern. Her second oldest daughter, Tammy, requested a vintage quilt. This 30s reproduction of prints using a carpenter's wheel pattern worked out nicely. The Amazon Star. Janet's son Timothy liked this Amazon Star pattern, taking Janet several years to complete. Her efforts not going unnoticed as this quilt took home first place and best in show in the 2024 quilt show, and both best of division and viewer's choice in the 2024 Nevada County Fair. 2014. Betty always loved the ocean waters and more specifically seagulls, thus inspiring Judy to create this quilt for her mom with these fun fabrics. This puzzle quilt was given to Judy as a kit cut out by her mom for Christmas in 2014. As kids, they would always put together puzzles as family. But Mom, Betty, would always keep the last piece. This quilt was missing the last piece as well. Judy completed it with a piece from her own stash. The rail fence quilt pattern originated from the long cabin block, also known as Roman stripe, in the early 19th century. Thus, after learning some basics, making two jelly roll raised quilt tops under the close guidance of her mom, Jane Wood, this quilt is Beth's first top completed on her own. She calls this quilt Chill Out. This 9-patch quilt, also made by Beth, is called Revival Hopscotch. This quilt was made from reproduction prints of the 1930s. Both of Beth's quilts were quilted by her mom and are used almost daily in their home. Beth is honored to be among the long line of talented quilters and hopes to continue the legacy they have begun.
Well, Betty's legacy lives on. The 6th generation of quilters in Betty's family is flourishing, carrying forward her rich legacy with her own unique styles and creative touches. Growing up surrounded by the hum of sewing machines and endless tubs of fabric, Betty's grandchildren also have fond memories of sitting on her lap as she hand quilted with tiny thimbles on their fingers and gluing fabric scraps onto paper to create their own quilts. Like the generations before them, this group shares a deep love for quilting, crafting family heirlooms that will be cherished for years to come. This first quilt was made by Betty's eldest grandson, Gregory Moody, the son of Joan, who loves anything race car, and he created this quilt for his own son, Kurt Moody, in 2010. All 4 of Jared's children, Lisa, Tamara, Stephanie, and Timothy, have made quilts. Lisa and Tammy both completed their first quilts at the ages of 5 and 6, and these quilts were tied rather than quilted. Lisa also made this Disappearing Hearts quilt from fabric purchased from the Guild's Country Store. This would be the last time Lisa would browse for fabrics with her Grandma Betty. For this quilt, Lisa learned free motion quilting on her mom's long arm. Lisa said, "Did I mention how much fun free motion quilting is?" A sentiment I don't really share, but she says this is her perfect cool evening. Her perfect cool evening watch a movie quilt. This is a family. Lisa wanted to create a quilt that captured her heritage. She always loved the tiny piecing, the postage stamp quilts, just like her Grandma Betty. She calls this quilt Pieces of Family, and I love that name, Lisa. When almost finished with this masterpiece, Lisa said, "I truly never thought it would take as long as it has to complete." Pieces of this quilt have remains from the very early hand-stitching years of my grandmother. These pieces were placed in the borders of the quilt, and within the quilt are blocks that my grandmother made for the last completed quilt she pieced while sitting with my grandfather in his last days. The rest of the fabric pieces came from my mom and my aunt's stash. This quilt means a lot to me because it represents our past, present, and future. At 10, Lisa made a log cabin quilt under Betty's watchful eye as part of a Girl Scout project joined by her sister Tammy and their cousin Angela. The report still has a few forgotten pins It serves as a colorful display piece. We don't have that quilt here tonight, but Tammy made this quilt, I think it's this one, yeah. Tammy made this quilt, a project guided by Grandma Betty, as she led Tammy's group of Girl Scouts through the process of making a quilt. This year, Tammy created the beautiful herringbone quilt. Is that the next one there? Down there. Okay. This year, Tammy created a beautiful herringbone quilt for a dear friend. She did a great job of choosing neutral colors. She's also crafted baby quilts for friends, and working with Janet, she made a king-size quilt as a wedding gift for her niece, Stacia. Stephanie gravitates toward more modern prints and vintage patterns, blending tradition with a contemporary flair. One of her quilts, a collaborative effort with her mother and Grandma Betty, was a birthday gift to her husband, Mario Ratto. It's a special treasure, the work of 3 generations of quilters working on one quilt. Completed in 2023, we have Stephanie's first independently created throw-size quilt, made on her own, but with many calls to Janet during the process. Timothy, Janet's youngest, and his wife Serena made this quilt, giving it to Serena's sister during her battle with cancer. Judy's children, Robert and Angela, have also joined the quilting tradition. Robert fondly remembers making a butterfly quilt with his grandma, and Angela made this baby quilt for her son, George. My daughter, Jenna, showed an interest in using a sewing machine at a young age, crafting doll quilts and baby quilts that became treasured gifts for her favorite teachers. Now a student at the University of Missouri, she has continued her creative journey. Jenna has battled CRPS for years, but that didn't stop her from earning the prestigious Girl Scout Gold Award, culminating with her project of making and donating over 200 multi-textured patchwork stuffed elephants to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles for sensory therapy. Greg and Betty contributed many of the textured fabric for those elephants. The 6th generation of quilters continues Betty's legacy, infusing it with their own personal touches and modern creativity. With each stitch, they honor the tradition that was passed down with their grandmother's love, ensuring that this cherished family art form lives on. Now we have 2 multi-generational quilts. This past Christmas, in a beautiful family tribute, all 15 members of Janet's family, Generation 6 and Generation 7, each contributed a block with a preset color theme to surprise both Janet and her husband, Tim Palmer, with their own quilts. What an effort it was to complete these 2 beautiful quilt tops, trick Janet into quilting one of them, then sending the other to Aunt Jane for quilting, and keeping it all a surprise. As our 7th generation takes shape, our legacy evolves with each new child who picks up a needle and thread. We started off sharing quilts from Betty's great-grandmother, and we have traveled through the generations. Now we are sharing quilts from Betty's great-grandchildren. Judy has shared her skills with her granddaughter, Holly Mae, and they have shared the joy of quilting together. Janet's grandchildren have all been exposed to the art of quilting, and her 4 youngest have made their own quilts. Stacia and her husband Bryce and her brothers Victor and Vincent Sines each crafted their first quilt blocks, contributing to those amazing Christmas tribute quilts made for Grandma Janet and Grandpa Tim. Haley Reed Ratto, just 11, has already completed 3 quilts. One was a gift for her great-grandmother Joanne, who loved horses. She made another for her best friend as a parting gift because as military families, they were both moving to different states. The quilt we have here from Haley was the very first one she made. Carson Ratto, now 8, made this quilt with the help of his Nima Gannis long-arm machine. His precision in following the pantograph pattern with a laser light has shown his impressive attention to detail. His favorite Durbite quilt, made by his Nima, is always by his side. Ollie and Harper Palmer, they're with us here tonight, I think. Both of them are there. Yes, they are. Ages 5 and 6 have just completed their first quilt, choosing their own